Hello guys, welcome to Sunny Callar's Never Give Up Motivation channel. Today we're taking a trip down memory lane for generations X and Y. So settle in, sit back and enjoy this. This is just a quick motivation grab that will hopefully put a smile on your face by the end. Now the 80s and 90s were great and simple times. It was when I was knee high to a grasshopper and when we were talking no computers, no phones and just, well, life was truly innocent and there were carefree days. So let this trip down memory lane help to stoke up your fire and remember those halcyon days of yore. So firstly we had your favourite soda stream flavours. You would play Colt 45, Murder in the Dark, hide and seek until late without worrying about being kidnapped by a coachload of beer swilling hooligans. Those days when you used to leave your front door open and it seemed as though your mates were over every single day. The summers, they used to go on forever. The winters were always snowy and white. You would run until you were out of breath. You collected stickers and badges and would do swapsies at school. You collected Barbie stuff, a few guys nodding there I see. You had your Matchbox cars, fashion accessories, stamps or coins. You owned a Tomahawk Racer, BMX Griffin or Chopper bike. You could walk home from school leisurely even though school was a good 1 hour away without thinking about being mugged by gun-toting bandits hell-bent on eating your liver. You owned a Ford Cortina, an Escort or a Capri. You even splashed out on the gear with the thunder lightning strips at the back. Do you remember those? It really didn't get much better than that. Then you would eat Snowball ice creams from the ice cream van, the ones with the round bubblegum at the bottom. You had to try out all the flavours of Nesquik milkshakes. You played with a Spectrum 48K, a Commodore 64, a BBC Micro or an Atari. Yes, you were actually amused for hours watching two computer icons moving up and down on either side of the screen, batting a ball back and forth with the sounds of beep, beep, beep echoing around the living room. Then there were the slush puppies, the gobstoppers, the jawbreakers, flumps, cola bottles, cola cubes, sherbet dips, coke floats. When you would dip your ice cream in a glass of coke, yeah, regular little scientists back then, weren't you? Then there were the times when you would take your Snoopy lunchbox to school. You would rest your weary frame on the grass and search the clouds for shapes without a care in the world. You were baking cakes, playing cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, playing jacks, flicking cards, climbing trees and buying a bag of chips for 17.5 pence when you all drank from the same bottle of fizzy drink without anyone dying from gingivitis or scurvy. You would then settle down on Saturday mornings watching such classics such as Tiz Was. Then there were the other classic programmes. You had Grange Hill with Tucker and Gripper, remember those? Swap Shop, Rainbow, Hong Kong Phooey, Top Cat, Wurzel Gummidge, Mind Your Language, 40 Towers, Crackerjack, Danger Mouse, Sesame Street, The Sooty Show, The $6 Million Man, Blake Seven, TJ Hooker, Starsky and Hutch, Chips and The Professionals, amongst other timeless beauties. Then there were the regular sessions involving the inevitable truth or dare game with your mates, the Ouija board seances that you would also do, and other bonding moments. You used to play football until you ended up cutting your knees up outside in the garden or out in the street. You would eat hula hoops on your fingers. You'd watch Hammer House of horror movies on TV. You owned a skateboard, roller skates, trainers with wheels on. You had a collection of toy soldiers, teddy bears or dolls. You would shout fight, fight, fight at school when ruffled feathers were flying between your mates. Then there were the lazy days in the garden paddling pool, even lazier days negotiating the garden hopscotch before you tripped and you knocked out your front teeth. Your fellow sibling or your parents would try to cut your hair with a bowl despite knowing that you would end up looking like a scarecrow. Then you would have pillow fights before bedtime, advanced pillow fights for the connoisseurs amongst us with bricks inside. Rest in peace, Joe. You were a warrior. You would make puppets out of socks, play conkers, putting conkers in the fridge overnight to make them indestructible. Then you would have makeshift ghost trains with bed sheets in your room and then savage the unlucky victim who dared to test it out. You would tell one another horror stories with the lights off only to see your cousin weave their pants in sheer terror. And when you really loved that middle parting, you know who you are. Finally, there would be copious amounts of riding our bikes around the block, getting attacked by water bombers, playing bulldog as though it was the most exciting game in the world, spud guns, pea shooters using straws, grazing your knees as you leapt off the swing to see how far you could jump. You would make obstacle courses in the garden using overturned milk crates. You would cower in fear every time the chitty chitty bang bang witch freak unfiltered, all free today, and lollipops. You'd unwind video and tapes and cassettes when they were stuck with a pencil or a pen. You were so goofy that you could have put Bugs Bunny out of the job because you were so innocent. And above all, you had freedom, success and failure in your own innocent way, but crucially without a bloody care in the world, or even knowing what the word responsibility or accountability meant. Now, while I dabbed my eyes with a tissue, those were truly wonderful days. There was something magical, so innocent and so carefree. Life was great back then, it really was. But hey, it still is today. It's just a little bit different now. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that trip down memory lane. It really brought back some memories for me. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe the video. Now, I'm off to get a cup of tea. I'll see you back for the next one. Cheers.